The class in and of itself, as his name would suggest, is looking at Kendrick Lamar, his life, his impact, and the conditions that made Kendrick Lamar the man and the artist that he is. And so, even like talking about the morale of the Mad City, alluding to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers and Good Kid, Mad City, is supposed to indicate that we're going to look at the span of his discography to a varying degree, but also look at how he became who he is. And so, we're going to spend a considerable amount of time looking at how, for instance, Compton went from an aspirational neighborhood to the war zone that he describes in Section 80 in Good Kid, Mad City, and talk about the urban policies that shaped that. We're also going to do some biographical work and look at how Kendrick emerged during that window of time. Also going to look at hip hop as a whole, like just the formation of the culture and then the iteration that emerges from the West Coast, Kendrick Lamar's ascension in that whole continuum, and then just more broadly, just his impact as this cultural icon. So we'll span a lot of different various topics over the span of 15 weeks. Just looking at, like I said, Kendrick Lamar, the man, looking at his art, looking at the conditions and the environment that made the man, and then his overall impact.
Yep.
In terms of the impetus for the class, so around the time that I became the director of the Center for Anti-Racism, I began to teach less and less per semester. And so about this time last year, I went to the department chair at the Department of Africology and African American Studies. That's Dr. Ama Mazama, and I told her that I miss being in the classroom. I would love an opportunity to teach my hip hop and Black culture class again, if that was something she was open to. And then she said she would prefer if I would be willing to create a new course. And so I shot a few ideas back and forth with her, and she said, "These are good ideas, but I'm not certain if they're good for right now. Do you have any other ideas?" And I said, "Well, what about a class about Kendrick Lamar?" And she loved the idea, like almost immediately. She said, "Send me syllabus. I'll see, and then I'll see about it from there." So I sent her the syllabus, and then from there, she went through the protocols of the university to get the course approved, and then it was approved, and I found out about it this spring that it was approved, and so that's kind of how the course came to be.
So yeah, if I was at Temple, that'd be the first class I signed up for. I'm a big Kendrick Lamar fan. So to that
Yeah.
point, like, what's your preparation like for a Kendrick Lamar album? Are you like, I mean, course, are you reading like theology? Because I know Kendrick gets deep into that. Are you like, is it rap genius, like you're analyzing lyrics? Are you going back and listening to like Lamar EP to like really kind of get the thesis of who he is? I'm curious, like on your side, like how have you prepared for the course?
One of the fortunate things about the course and being able to teach it now is I've been using Kendrick's music in class for about 10 years now. Between the hip hop and Black culture course, I also taught another course called No City for Young Men, Hip Hop and the Narrative of Marginalization. And in that class, we used a lot of Kendrick's music as well. And so I do have a bit of, I guess, of a head start in terms of using him as a subject in class. In terms from there, the preparation is multifaceted, just as you suggested. So Marcus J. Moore wrote a book called The Butterfly Effect. So I read that. We'll likely incorporate elements of that in the class. I'd spend some time listening to every Kendrick album. And so try to listen to part of an album or an entire album every day during the window of time that I'm preparing, just to kind of do a deeper dive into this level of preparation. And then from there, also just looking at the things that other people have written and said about him. And then lastly, assembling guests for the class too. So I've assembled a good amount of guests, and so still trying to get a few more. There's a handful more I'm trying to hope and pray that we get, but that's the general sense of the overall preparation for the class.
If you enjoyed that clip, make sure you head over to www.bookupapp.com to download our app so you can connect with your favorite bookish content creators, start conversations, and start your own book club.